Huh. Huh. Hmm. Nice. No, whatever the system is, whatever it is, but she is just, because she has not been able to discuss this, so she is getting a little worried. ठीक, that's excellent. Aj. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye. Yes, this is true that ITC have been the first commercial house, perhaps the pioneers, in institutionalizing Guru Shishya Parampara, at least in the post-independent era of our country. But this is a very small effort in the sense that the field is enormous, very large. We are handling at a time at best about 18-20 students of advanced music and perhaps turning out 3 or 4 products who operate at the national level maybe after 10-15 years of training. But this is just a drop in the ocean. What we need in the country is perhaps hundreds of such institutions. We have taken the responsibility to look after vocal music in the classical music sphere. Other patrons could emerge. Someone looking after instrumental music in Hindustani section, another perhaps looking after the classical dance forms, yet another to take up the Carnatic area, both in vocal and instrumental music. It's such a large field. So this is certainly an important institution in the sense that we have taken over the responsibility, we have given the lead, we have given the results also for the entire community to see that this is the only way, this is perhaps the best way to impart training according to traditional concepts, traditional discipline. But the activity has to be increased. There has to be many more institutions like this. Then only it will make a substantial, a real contribution, a real change in the field, which is very much needed, very much desired today. But nevertheless, this has been a very vital and important contribution on the part of ITC. And I would like to take another angle to it also. I always maintain that patronage is something which can be benevolent or selfish. Selfish patronage is that kind of patronage which seeks instant mileage, instant returns. Well, corporate section has come into this field in a big way, but my own feeling is that in most of the cases, it's a question of corporate sector deriving immediate mileage either for their sales promotion or for their public relations concepts, in which case this becomes a kind of a commercial activity, this kind of patronage. I am looking for benevolent patronage, where it's a long-term involvement of the patron, where he is not looking for immediate gains, where he is basically concerned about the benefit to the field. And I would say that this institution, Sangeet Research Academy, is perhaps one example today where the patron is a benevolent patron. So this is a very important distinction, and I think this is where the patrons have to see the distinction and come forward with benevolence, with real concern that something good has to be done in the field, the good is needed. We a separate subject.
इसी किस्म का मध्यम लगाने का कुछ तरीका उसका लगा, मध्यम पे बहुत ज़रूरत है, पूर्वी जैसा है, उससे पूर्वी ठाट का ही है।
थोड़ी देर का है ना? हाँ, थोड़ी देर का है।
मुसीबत हो रहा था उसको, उसका सुनने के बाद वो पूर्वी गा
ठाट एक है,
ठाट एक है, पुरिया कल्याण और पूर्वी गाँव या पुरिया कल्याण
नहीं, पुरिया कल्याण अलग होगा, कल्याण है ना, वो ठाट
नहीं, पूर्वी गाने के बाद पुरिया धनुषी गाओ, मज़ा आ जाएगा एकदम पूरा, आधा एक आज कला है।
तेज एक ही जैसा है, कल नतीजे इसके पास थे।
वो जैसे ना वो बसंत गाने के बाद तुम परज गाना शुरू करो।
हाँ हाँ, बहुत मुसीबत।
और एक चीज़ सुना कि पुरिया के बाद पुरिया मारवा के बाद सोहनी गाना बड़ा मुश्किल। मुझे कोई मुश्किल नहीं होता सोहनी गाने।
सोहनी मारवा बिल्कुल अलग है।
अलग है।
सोहनी तो बिल्कुल ही है।
क्या देखिए पुरिया के बाद सोहनी
बहुत अलग, लेकिन थोड़ा सा होता है, लेकिन सोहनी तो बिल्कुल ही अलग है।
उसको तो वो उत्तरंग का राग है।
पुरिया मारवा भी बिल्कुल अलग है। अलग है एकदम, वजन अलग अलग जगह मिलता है।
सबसे ज़्यादा मुझे कंफ्यूजन होता है ये में सुरमलार और मल्हार उनके राग में हमारा मेरे को पड़ा जाता है।
ये ऐसे पानी डाल के कभी थैंक यू।
तुमको शुक्ल भी लगा मालूम है? अब हुआ मालूम है?
नहीं मालूम, अभी
लच्छा साग भी लगा मालूम है? नहीं लच्छा साग क्या है? तोड़ी। लच्छा साग बिलावल।
तो कोई भी नहीं गाता, कोई गाता है, कोई नहीं।
धुलिया मरफर मान।
गुरुजी गाते हैं ना।
बहुत अच्छा गाते हैं।
और बुआ जी की ताने बहुत अच्छी।
Should I'm often asked, how did ITC get interested in classical music? Well, ITC is a company which has a very strong sense of social responsibility. It so happens that since 1971, ITC have been conducting a major music festival in India, which used to be in aid of the Prime Minister's Relief Fund. And I would say that through this festival, they have been mainly responsible in awakening the interest for classical music in Delhi. And therefore, they were identified as patrons of art, particularly in the field of Indian classical music. Well, this institution was created in 1977, started functioning in 1978. Mr. Haksar, Mr. Ajit Narayan Haksar, who was the chairman of ITC then, was a indeed a visionary. He could see that this field needed some national service, and he picked up this field. And so this institution was created. I was asked to plan the project and also run it. Well, this, I would say, has been a pioneering effort in this field. I wouldn't say that this was the first attempt to establish an institution based on Guru Shishya Parampara or to institutionalize the Guru Shishya Parampara concept. There have been examples of such institutions in the past as well. Gandhar Mahavidyalaya was established at Lahore in 1910 and did produce some of the greatest musicians that we had in the last generation. Narayan Rao Vyas, Patvardhanji, Thakur Omkar Nathji, and some others. Later, in early 20th century, in 30s perhaps, this Marist College, now known as Bhatkande College of Music, was also established by Dr. Ratanjankar, Pandit S.N. Ratanjankar. And it also produced some of good musicians, great musicians. In fact, Gendeji, K.G. Gende, earlier they were a team, Gende Bhatt. They were one of the most prominent, most learned musicians produced by that college. So it also produced musicians, performing musicians of high caliber. But somehow in the post-independent era of our country, we haven't had any other example. And from that point of view, I would say that this has been a pioneering attempt to institutionalize Guru Shishya Parampara. And the results have been fairly satisfactory, good. We have produced performing musicians of a very high order. In fact, some of our products are accepted as very accomplished performers at the national level. But I would still say that this is just a drop in the ocean. The sphere of Hindustani music, both Hindustani system and the Carnatic system, is so large that it cannot be looked after, or the tradition cannot be simply preserved by one or two such institutions. There has to be a number of similar institutions. I would personally be looking forward to the day when other industries, commercial houses, or philanthropists come forward and establish similar institutions, someone looking after the field of instrumental music, someone taking up the classical dance styles, someone taking up the Carnatic music responsibility. And unless there are a number of similar institutions, the effect, the result will not be substantial. But we have certainly given the lead, and the results should encourage other patrons. Now, talking of patrons, I think we must make a very clear distinction in the definition of patronage. Well, it is true that performing arts can only flourish and have always flourished with patronage. But it has to be benevolent patronage. It has to be enlightened patronage. Somehow, today, the word patronage is used for any support that anybody gives for any activity in the field of music. I don't think that is the correct way to define patronage. Today we see that the corporate sector has come into the field of performing arts in a very big way. But I would say by and large, their participation in this field is for selfish interests. They want quick returns from it. They want immediate mileage. They arrange festivals in a very big way, very large festivals, most of the time engaging the superstars and the same stars again and again all over at different places. Now, I can't understand how this will develop a tradition. But through this, they want large gatherings, and through large gatherings, they want immediate returns through sales promotion or even through public relations. Classical music today has become one of the most popular, one of the most prestigious activities. The elite of society participates in it. Politicians participate in it. So it has become a sort of a prestige issue. It has become a sort of a status symbol to be seen in important classical music gatherings. Now, if you support any such activity, it is basically for public relations. So, I would say that the example of Sangeet Research Academy is unique in the sense that it is perhaps one example where the patron is not looking for immediate mileage. Patron is genuinely interested in the promotion and the development of the art, of the tradition. And of course the mileage will be there, the returns will be there, the goodwill will be there. But one has to be patient, and therefore I describe this as enlightened patronage. And I have no doubt that some years later, I mean, we have already been functioning for 15 years, but I think after another 15 years, society will accept the contribution of this institution. Public will realize what a great service this has been, and then probably the ITC will benefit the most. The corporate image will really be established through this medium. मुझसे अक्सर पूछा जाता है कि गुरु शिष्य परंपरा क्या है और इसका आजकल के वातावरण में, आजकल के एनवायरनमेंट में क्या महत्व है, क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है, और क्यों संगीत शिक्षा में इस ट्रेडिशन को कायम रखना ज़रूरी समझा जाता है। अब गुरु शिष्य एक ऐसा रिलेशनशिप है जिसको हम चंद शब्दों में नहीं बता सकते। ये एक संबंध है, एक लाइफ लॉन्ग रिलेशनशिप है, और इस कला के लिए इस संबंध का होना बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाता है। आजकल पढ़ाई लिखाई तो क्लासरूम में भी होती है, ट्यूशन से भी होती है, लेकिन एक टीचर और स्टूडेंट का रिलेशन जो है वो बिल्कुल दूसरा है गुरु और शिष्य के मुकाबले। गुरु एक बहुत समझिए, एक शिष्य के लिए गुरु ही नहीं है, भगवान है, उसका पिता है, सब कुछ है। और अपनी पूरी जीवन साधना, जीवन के लक्ष्य का पूरा एक भार शिष्य जो है वो गुरु के ही कंधों पर डालता है। इस वजह से गुरु की जिम्मेदारियां बहुत ख़ास एक बनती हैं जिसको उन्हें निभाना ज़रूरी हो जाता है। अब हम चाहते ये हैं कि हम गुरु से विद्या ग्रहण करें। विद्या जो है वो एक गुरु की संपत्ति है, वेल्थ है, ट्रेजर है उसका। वो किस तरह से अपनी संपत्ति को कौड़ियों के दाम या किसी भी कीमत में किसी को दे सकता है। इट इज़ therefore there has to be an emotional relationship between the master and the pupil. गुरु को हमको इमोशनली अराउज करना पड़ेगा कि उसमें ये एक ख्वाहिश ही नहीं बल्कि एक लगन पैदा हो कि उसको अपने शिष्य को तैयार करना ही है, ये उसकी जिम्मेदारी है, ये उसके जीवन का एक लक्ष्य है। और इसको, इस जिम्मेदारी को समझने के लिए एक शिष्य को सभी कुछ अपना गुरु को अर्पण कर देना ज़रूरी हो जाता है। गुरु उससे सिर्फ पैसा नहीं चाहता, पैसा बल्कि बिल्कुल ही नहीं चाहता, विद्या तो दान दी जाती है, लेकिन उसकी लॉयल्टी, उसकी सर्विस, यही जो है, यही एक चीज़ें हैं जिससे गुरु को एक श्रद्धा पैदा होती है और उसको एक भरोसा होता है कि हाँ, मेरी जो संपत्ति है वो इसके पास कायम रहेगी और मेरा नाम ये मेरा शिष्य रोशन करेगा। तो ये रिलेशनशिप पैदा करने के लिए ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम कई वर्षों के लिए गुरु और शिष्य को साथ रखें और उसी तरह से शिक्षा दिलवाएं जिस तरह से पुराने ज़माने में होती थी कि गुरु ये समझे कि ये मेरा बेटा है, ये मेरी जिम्मेदारी है, और शिष्य